1.6, solving for a variable. Today's objective, we're going to use formulas for a given variable. We're going to use equations in one or two variables. We're going to be dealing with formulas. Now, you should know that formulas states a rule for relationship amongst quantities. For example, I have D equals RT. The D is isolated. We can always rearrange a formula to isolate any variable using inverse operations. This is solving for a variable. When solving for a variable, step 1, we need to locate the variable you're asked for in an equation. Step 2, identify the operations and variables in the order in which they are applied. And the final step, use inverse operations to undo operations and isolate the variable. The formula C equals pi d gives us the circumference of a circle of C in terms of a diameter d. The circumference of a bowl is 18 inches. What is the bowl's diameter? We're going to leave the symbol pi in your answer. So we have C equals pi d. These types of problems give a lot of students difficulty because there's no numbers. What variable are you trying to solve for? We're trying to solve for d. If I'm trying to solve for d, think of a typical algebra problem. I have 10 equals 2x. What do you do here? Why do we divide by 2? Because it's multiplying the variable. What's happening to my d? What's being multiplied to my d? Pi. So how do I get rid of multiply by pi? So I'm going to divide by pi, divide by pi. D equals C over pi. Now the circumference is 18. So all I have to do is just change the C with the 18. And that's your answer. Because it says in the directions, leave the symbol pi in your answer. We're not going to be using 3.14. We're going to be using the calculator pi button. It's more accurate. But we're not there yet. Solve the formula D equals RT for T. Then find the time in hours that it would take Malik to travel 26.2 miles if his average speed was 18 miles per hour. I have D equals RT. What variable am I solving for? T. What's happening to my T? It's being multiplied by R. How do I get rid of multiplied by R? Divide by R, divide by R. So T equals D over R. Now, the distance is what? 26.2. The rate is 18. So we're going to take 26.2 divided by 18.
1.5. 1.45.
And I get 1.46 hours. Round the two decimal places, and you need to round correctly. Like this problem here. The formula for the area of a triangle is A equals 1/2 BH. B is the base, H is the height. Solve for H. I'm not giving you any other numbers. You just have to solve for H. What variable am I solving for? H. So I'm going to circle my H. I need to get, so it's H equals. That needs to be my final answer. What's happening to my H? Okay, it's being multiplied by 1/2, and it's being multiplied by a B. I want to get rid of that half first. How do we get rid of a multiplying by a half? We don't divide by a half, we multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2, multiply by 2. So the half of 2 is gone. I have 2a equals bh. How do I get rid of that b being multiplied to the h? Divide by b. Divide by b, divide by b. H is 2a over b, and that is your answer. It is just a rearrangement. You're going to have to learn how to manipulate equations. You have to always remember that if you have a fraction, we don't divide by fractions, we multiply by the reciprocals. Here's this one. There is a formula for finding someone's typing speed. Speed in words per minute is the words minus 10e over m. E is the number of errors, and m is the number of minutes typing. I want you to try to solve for e. All right, I have s equals w minus 10e over m. What's causing me the issue right now for solving for e? 10's fine. I have w minus 10e divided by m. The last thing I'm saying is divided by m, correct? How do I get rid of divide by m? Multiply by m. Multiply by m. So I have sm equals w minus 10e. Actually, it should be ms to put it alphabetical. Anyone lost in what I did there? I'll go through it again. I have s equals w minus 10e divided by m. The last thing I said was divided by m. That's my issue. How do I get rid of a divide by m? To get rid of a divide by, I multiply by m, multiply by m. So I have ms equals, these cancel out, w minus 10e. If this was a typical algebra problem with numbers, what would move first? Would the w or the 10? Why would the w move and not the 10? The 10 is attached to the variable, so we move what is not attached to the variable. What's the sign of this w? Is it positive or is it negative? How do I move a positive w? Subtract w. Subtract w. ms minus w equals negative 10e. Why did I write ms minus w? I subtracted w and I can't do anything with the ms and the w. So it's just ms minus w. Now what's happening to my e? It's being multiplied by negative 10, so how do I get rid of a multiply by negative 10? Divide by negative 10. Divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10. I have ms minus w divided by negative 10 is equal to e. That is your answer. It's a little bit trickier without numbers. You have to know your operations. It's working backwards. There's a lot of people who are stuck on this one also. F equals I minus gt. I'm solving for I. So what do I have to move away from the I? the negative gt. How do I move a negative gt? Add gt. Add gt. Add gt. F plus gt equals I. Done. Our first problem, x plus y equals 15 for x. What am I trying to solve for? X. So I'm going to circle my x. That's what I have to get by itself. What needs to move? How do I move that y? Why do you subtract y? Since it's positive y, subtract y, subtract y. X equals 15 minus y. Done. These are actually easier because you don't have to do any math. It's just moving things around. Part B, PQ equals X. What am I solving for? Q. What's happening to my Q? It's being multiplied by P. How do I get rid of a multiply by P? Divide by P. Q equals X over P. Done. Questions? On this one, I have 5 minus b equals 2t. There's numbers, there's variables. The most important piece, what variable am I solving for? T. I am solving for t. What is happening to my t? It's being multiplied by 2. How do I get rid of a multiply by 2? Divide by 2 here, divide by 2 here. T is equal to 5 minus b over 2, finished.